I moved to Brisbane when I was 9 with my family, and it was just, my parents thought it was full of possibilities and was the up-and-coming city of Australia.
The same things I think that make it a place of opportunity are sometimes a frustration or you know, a difficulty.
I didn't really see that in it. I thought there was a lot of talk about Brisbane being this really great urban capital metropolis for the future, but a lot of that hasn't eventuated.
We are on the periphery of the periphery in terms of fashion. So I think there's that tension between we don't have access to a great number of beautiful, extraordinary collections of art and design the way that you would if you were in London, for example. And that's both a drawback and an opportunity. And I think the future in a world that has become so homogenised is going to be around how you create something that is fresh and new. And in that basis, I think we have a lot to offer.
We finally got all of the students to the Salvation Army, and Ian from the Salvos was like more than generous in offering each of the students $100 worth of garments.
Don't cut it off!
I'll have to cut it off, that's my...
Someone got married.
Someone got married in this!
What? Then why did they put it into a Salvo store if it was so precious to them?
Screw wang, retarding.
Someone does a sound bite.
It's going to be hard. It always is hard, but you know, I think we all have the skills and we've all got different aesthetics and approaches to how we will be doing this.
So, yeah, the thing that I was most worried about was just actually making it, because I'm not very confident.
This collaboration, I think, is an amazing project. I'm still a little bit unsure about where it's going. I know that it's all exciting, but I think it's fantastic that we are actually getting in contact with artists that we wouldn't usually get in contact with, and other creative practitioners that we would never have heard of probably, or never have come in contact with.
I like the collaboration side of things. I think that that's inspirational in itself. Gets me excited about designing and working with people in the future.
Well, I'm really excited to see how the students take inspiration from my work. My practice is very split between two different mediums, but also two very different techniques, styles, concepts, themes. So it'd be interesting to see whether they focus solely on one or whether try to merge the two different mediums. Something I've never done before. I've seen them as very separate, but there was some talk in our meeting last week of how to join the two into one output. So I'm really excited to see whether that will come about.
Holy crap!
This is the piece I finished last week. So there's about 50 hours of weaving and Yeah, I think it's a whole cycle. I mean, I gain inspiration from certain things. The fashion students are then going to gain inspiration from what I've done, but also how I've approached and interpreted. And so then when I see their work again, it'll be another cycle of that follow-on of inspiration and how it develops out and grows into something that could never be imagined to start with.
Is that the most rewarding thing for you?
Definitely, yeah. I'm really excited to see how it's going to progress.
I copied out everything you had, and I went through and wrote notes. I was just full on getting into it, trying to figure out what I was going to do, because I really like the idea of the freak show, so the circus act.
Yeah.
And how it's all fake, it's made up. And I also like the idea of the celebrity as this religious figure, this idol sort of thing, so I was trying to approach that, looking at making it like a religious figure that's sort of got this sexy, sensual side to them. Yeah. Like it's not, almost as if they're dirty, it's not a real figure. We look up to it and we idolise it, but it's got faults.
Yeah. So engagement with the girls will be a little bit of give and take. I'll give them as much information about my practice, tell them as much about that I can about what inspires me, but also hope to gain a lot of knowledge from them as to their fashion background, and hopefully they can actually help me in my practice. So a lot of give and take, collaboration.
The first thing that comes to mind is the end result. That's what I think I'm really looking forward to. The end result being that it's this collaboration. I don't know what it looks like, but it's looking amazing in my mind. I'm not really sure what that is, but I think it's pretty exciting. I think this will be something good for Brisbane.
We've been here for days trying to find the different ways to fall in love again. Has it been in vain?
Brisbane is a really interesting place to be involved in fashion. When I first arrived, which was about 8.5 years ago now, I remember at the time my students would say, why on earth would you leave London to come to Brisbane? I mean, why would you do that? You must be insane. And some of the things that really appealed to me about Brisbane, having trained in London and then worked in London and then been an educator in London, was the fact that Brisbane seemed to me to be such a blank sheet of paper. And that doesn't mean that there wasn't an attitude and an energy about Brisbane. I think that was really important. But that there wasn't a long kind of heritage or stamp around what Brisbane or Queensland, or I believe even what Australian fashion was about.
I definitely don't write Brisbane off, even though there's just such a mentality to do so. But I've just spent the last 5 years here, and I've said goodbye to at least 25 good friends who have gone off to London and Paris and Rome. So I think you've just got to look for the opportunities, and unless people do start looking for the opportunities here, it's fine to go, there's nothing there, but how about just doing something about it, even in a little way. Progress is very slow, and in the meantime you feel like a lot of these other cities are doing things, taking real action to get things moving, but sometimes Brisbane just lags behind a bit.
Is to try and reignite. Try and reignite. Try and reignite.
I think the students were pretty overwhelmed by the amount of information that they'd received. They're used to coming up with a theme and just like studying that and basing all of their research on that. So the fact that they were using, recycled garments, collaborating with an artist, but then also presenting their own ideas, their own design aesthetic, that was really a lot for them to take on board.
Our last assessment was just so standard. We basically the task was to make a black one-piece swimsuit, and now it's just like totally backwards, and there are basically no guidelines and you can do whatever you like. It's taking a bit of adjusting too.